Hi, everyone, and welcome to your weekly world session. It is the 14th of April in the year 2026. And today we're going to look at, I'll be focusing on brain work and whatever organs need to be affiliated to the brain work that pops up during the session. But what your job will be this week is to really feel into it's going to be a little bit difficult. This work can be kind of difficult or really easy depending on how your brain functions. Um, so we tend to have more negative views of ourselves. Some people can be very positive about themselves. That's fine. Um, we don't really have to work with that. What I'm looking at more is the negative view. And if there's something negative within us, we will tend to superimpose that negativity. And when I'm saying negative, I'm referring to our weakness, right? What is your weakness? Like your weakness could be organizational. Your weakness could be um, attending to details that you need to attend to. Your weakness could be um, dealing with different relationships. Your weakness could be something you'd like to be capable in, but you keep ignoring and you don't bother working at it. So the focus here is to help us deal with the things that we have as a weakness so that weakness can be integrated with the rest of our strengths. Okay. So usually when it's difficult for us, usually we see the weakness, we push it aside and we'll keep enhancing the strength. So you'll see a weakness, you'll push it to the side and you'll enhance the strength. So there's a psychological dictum, whatever you resist persists, or it even comes back with a vengeance. So that resistance, that need for the mind to make an excuse. I don't know if you've heard this before, but whenever we have to make an excuse for something, when we have to give a rationalization, an excuse, a justification, you've already lost. You could say, some people say you lose the battle. Yeah, sure. I don't care so much about the battle, but there are elements to the battle that are important. Like if I'm trying to improve how I deal with the world and I make excuses for everything, I don't think I'm going to gain any self-respect, nor will I get respect from others. Okay. Now, one thing we also have difficulty with is this can run under the auspices of negative and positive, is descriptive versus prescriptive. So that we can describe a situation, but often there's a description and we run to prescription too quickly, right? We will run to, like, let's say, okay, I'm feeling angry. All right, here's what you do about it. That that's a leap because there's no description of, what's going on with that anger. Where is it coming from? Where's the source? What responsibility do I have before I give the prescription? Right? So people will give a prescription very, very quickly. That kind of denotes I'm not listening. I'm not listening to you because I'm going to tell you what to do with your life. So prescription is I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you how to manage it. That's not how we do things. We have to listen intently to someone, see where it can evolve, and find ways in which you can give the prescription with the other person's feedback, let's say. Okay. But if we just give a prescription without knowing all of the description, it's not going to work out. So, but let's look at that as a weakness. Many of us have a weakness. If someone is tired, if someone is stressed, the minute there's a description of something without a very detailed description and some questions to be able to denote what's going on, you're going to end up getting a prescription, right? Something like, I'm feeling, you go to your psychiatrist, I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling anxious. Okay, here's some medication, right? You can get that. Or you come to a psychiatrist, he's going to sit there and go, okay, we'll give you maybe a medication so we could give you some space. So you're able to start figuring out other ways to deal with anxiety, etc. That's going to be very different and it's going to be exploratory rather than so usually when we're with friends, we give a very quick prescription, very, very quick, right? Or if we have a very closed mind, we'll give a quick prescription. And we don't want to do that for ourselves or for anyone else because you're not really dealing with what's going on. But then that takes us to, oh my God, that's a lot of work. Hey, lady, that's a lot of work. Yeah, it is a lot of work. And that's why most of us are dissatisfied with the prescriptions, right? You get a little book, 10 ways to make your life better. You get another little book, 5 ways to get into a relationship. You get another little book, 3 ways to, make $1 million. Till you get to, this is the one secret, so you will answer everything in your life. These are all clearly baloney because we are way more complex than that. There is no clear answer to a question. We need to weigh all the variables, and that's going to take hours and hours and hours. But so does following a prescription that doesn't work. That also takes hours and hours and mistake after mistake. So, yeah, okay, I'm going to make a decision slowly. I'm going to take in all um, the different suggestions and ideas and see where I can make a decision. Also, we have to remember, none of us can make a decision that is beyond our capacity to understand. We won't do it, right? So if my understanding is here and you give me a suggestion that's way up here, 10 steps, I'm not going to be able to do it. I've got to go through each of the steps because we're stuck intellectually in that area. So these are all the little things that amount to big things we're going to kind of cover by doing this exercise. And as I see the exercise, we're going to help everyone at whatever level they're at. It's not going to be, you're going to go from here up to here. No, it's to help the brain make the decision to where you need to go. So the only thing you have to do is look around within and notice where your weakness is. Where is your weakness? Okay, so, you could follow any of the topics I brought up, but you could also kind of take a moment, breathe, and close your eyes and feel into what's a weakness I'd like to work with. What's a weakness that I'd like to integrate into my strengths so they no longer tear me down? They no longer hide and show up in the worst moments. Maybe it's something someone told you is a weakness. Maybe it's, yeah, something someone said one day. They don't have to tell you directly. You hear people talking and you get triggered, right? Um, there's this thing called microaggressions that have been, taken to the nth degree at this point. But those microaggressions can be your projections. You project them out there in the world and say the world has them and they need to protect me. That's a huge weakness. That'll destroy you, that'll destroy family, that'll destroy your neighborhood, your society. You can think about how the micro also affects the macro, and the macro also affects the micro. But it's really what's within me that I'm not able to deal with. So you could also think of it as a sensitivity. You might have a sensitivity, and you feel that that sensitivity is hampering you. And you might go, oh, I'm really sensitive and I can really tune into other people. I'm such a great empath, right? You start to get arrogant with the thing that is actually holding you back. And you kind of look at it and you go, okay, I need to look at this clearly and see how what would be one of the ways in which I could use that weakness step by step, not here's my weakness, let me go fix it. No, what can I do with it today? So um, a good example would be I'm not good, let's say, this isn't me, I'm good at organizing, but let's say someone's not good at organizing. They're not good at taking care of things in their office, in their desk, their files, but it has to be done and they can't hire someone. All right, let's sit back and just kind of go, what's one thing I can do? One small thing that I can do to help organize. Maybe today I'll start to organize my desk drawer, and tomorrow I'll do something else. And then I'll start to work with my files. And every single day you add something till what's the most important thing that happens? You create a habit, right? And that also, this is creating areas of the brain that are more practiced. So sometimes it's practice that's required, right? So you just practice, and then the brain starts to go, okay, I can do this. And eventually it's not about I have no time, right? That excuse is also difficult because the more disorganized you are, the more time you take up. If you're organized, then you're going to take up less time, right? And everything kind of detracts from everything else. So I'm just giving a silly example, but little tiny things that you can do. So I'm gonna go silent. I've chosen mine, but I'm going to go back in and really see if that's the one. I'm not going to think about it. Don't think about it. Let your body tell you, show you, where's my weakness? And you could ask, just where is my weakness? What weakness do I need to deal with now? So likely it's come up for you. Mine actually changed, so that's kind of cool. And whoa, okay, it changed and it changed something I had no idea was there. Oh, so you might feel things going on as that's happening. So we're getting the body mind to actually burn out the need to either hide it or try to push it. So I noticed something different. The weakness that I have, I try to push it and make it a strength. So now it's going, no, that's not what you do. You don't push it. You sit with it and start observing what it's doing in your life. Where am I protecting it? So I've given you many examples. You might have to extrapolate, like you might be defending it. Yeah, you might be defending it. You might be hiding it. You might be seeing it in other people. When we look at other people and we say, oh, how could they do that? Oh my God, that's so dumb. That's something that's going on in you. Otherwise, you would have compassion. That's not compassionate to look at someone and go, how could they do such a thing? That's not compassion. How could they think such a thing? How could they be for this or against that? How could they? That is a great indicator that's something going on, and you would think you'd say, I never do such a thing. That's usually what you're doing on some level. Usually, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but on some level, you might think of something terrible and go, I would never do that. You'd be surprised that you might be doing it. It could be to your inner child, right? You might say, I would never hurt a child, but a lot of people would never hurt some other child, but they spend a lot of time hurting their own inner child. This is really what we're doing here, is finding that weakness that we ignore. We either pretend is not there. Can you imagine a little kid going through that? Ignoring it, pretending it's not there. Here, we're looking at a kid that is living inside us that hasn't been supported, that we could be making fun of. We could say, oh, it's never going to happen. Of course it is, step by step, little bit. It doesn't have to be something that's ideal or perfect, but we can achieve some of it. We can achieve some of it. Okay, I'm not going to be a rocket scientist, but I definitely can learn how to deal with math. I can definitely learn how to get there and use those bits for whatever I need in my life. Okay, so you don't have to do it all, but you can do things that are going to support you and your life, and not to be judging or making fun of anyone. When you judge and make fun of someone, please, please use that as an indicator of what you're ignoring in yourself. Now, that doesn't mean we don't I make fun of certain things in myself, and there are a lot of good jokes out there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making fun. I'm not talking about finding the humor in our foibles. Definitely, there's a huge amount of humor in our foibles. I can make fun of myself all the time. I actually kind of have fun doing that. Uh, in this work through the years, people have always said, don't say those things about yourself. I'm like, yeah, but they're kind of funny, aren't they? Like, there's certain things that are kind of funny. And it's okay to laugh at those things, not to laugh and hide them, but to laugh and expose them, because we know sunlight is the best disinfectant. There's a paradox I've always seen. There's some classes out there where you have to see all the stuff in yourself, but when you're using comedy to see it, they go, oh, you're defending it. It's like, no, no, you can be, laughing, making fun, joking about oneself can be a way to hide it and hide the pain. Or it can be a way to expose it, to go, yeah, that's exactly what I do. Yes, it's really funny, but it's also serious, right? Because the things that are super funny are actually quite serious as well. Things that are just kind of like, oh, you're just making fun and it's not funny, you're not going to laugh. So, just little cues and clues to help you. It's not easy to spot this. It is not easy to be honest. By the way, none of us really want to be honest. We talk about authenticity, we talk about honesty. We don't want to be honest. We prefer to live in our delusional bubble. We do. It's so much easier. I can delude myself, even saying negative things about myself. I can delude myself and just go, well, I'll never be able to do this or that. We're going beyond this and helping our brain and the gut brain relax. Vagus nerve, right? Nice way to help drain things. Here's this is the sternocleidomastoid. You can milk that sternocleidomastoid. Just milk it, let it stick out and milk it. You grab it and you milk it like a cow. You milk it. And that really helps open up the neck and the brain and get everything draining out. And, as soon as I do it, I just go, ah, I feel so nice and relaxed doing that. And we do because the vagus nerve relaxes. Yeah, we can really catch that vagus nerve here. When the vagus nerve relaxes, brain and gut brain get to communicate. These are things you can do for yourself, especially when you're highly agitated. So today you're looking at projection. Projection can be I'm projecting something negative on someone else, but there's also another form that is called ideation. That's when you project positive things onto others. Those are great cues to let you know what you're not seeing in yourself, right? So some people can be very, very negative about themselves and never see anything good. That's also can be a problem. And some people say negative things and say positive things about themselves, and that hides. Both of them hide things. So, good way to find a cue and clue to what your weakness is. So, with that all said, hopefully that this will really, really help you take your weaknesses and transform them. They're not going to go away. Like whatever my weakness is, it's not going to go away. But it transforms me if I know my weakness and I can help it a little bit and integrate it so it's not hidden. Oh my God, my life can be so much better. This is really based in the ordinariness of life, self-acceptance. So we could call this whole session self-acceptance. That's the heart. I accept myself, foibles and all. It doesn't, there really isn't a difference. We all have some flaws. Yes, some people are better at things than others. Yeah, okay. So what? I can still love the life that I have, even though I'm not like, number one in the whole world of I don't know, speakers, and I don't have the best internet, and I don't have the best things, but I can look at my life and have the fullness of gratitude for everything that I have, including my weaknesses. They're there. Like that's it. All right. Hopefully you're going to find that self-acceptance this week and it'll start to vibrate outward and continue for the rest of your life. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week. Bye.